Welcome to At Midnight. It is 10 p.m. here in Sydney, but it's midnight in Auckland. It's midnight somewhere, and it doesn't matter about the night because it's just two mid kind of dudes having a night there Saturday night where we would normally be talking crap, and we decided why not turn cameras on and see if other people want to listen in. But I, of course, am the big Kahuna, and I am joined by the great white hope himself, Wonder Boy, Mucky, Mucky. It's Mucky.
Hey! How's it going, man?
Mucky. Hey, what? Have you done something different with your hair? Is that what's? I'm picking up. Maybe something's changed.
As you said, it's the great white hope. So I thought I'd make myself extra white by chucking on my Wendigo skull. But I didn't really think it that far through because normally it's just squishing my face bone so hard, but I can't even fit my headphones over it to wear it properly.
This is the ultimate test for someone that I know has improv background, that has acting chops, all that, loves the theater. How committed is he to the bit? The pain that is actually caused on his face at the moment, the uncomfortableness of holding his headphones in one hand only. How committed is Mucky to the bit of? First of all, like, to the uninitiated, you could just be wearing, like, what is this? This to me looks like, I don't know, just maybe if someone tuned in with the green lights that I've got, with what you're wearing, some sort of satanic ritual, maybe going on. This could be some sort of weird leftover Christmas decoration, reindeers. Yeah. So you tell us, your this is your prop, your costume, your bit. What's going on?
Yeah, I guess welcome everyone to this live. Sorry if my voice sounds off. It's really squishing my face. But yeah, we're here to talk about skinwalkers and wendigos, whether or not they exist or not. And this here is one of the designs of what a wendigo could potentially look like. So essentially, for those that don't know, a wendigo is a Native American myth. It's a mythological creature about a spirit that, it sort of lurks deep within like mountains and canyons and stuff. And if you're up in this sort of area with the spirit living around, it can make you sick and you can commit cannibalism, which if you do that, you start slowly transforming into this horrific creature. Basically, there's like really skinny, really bony, really large as well. There are many different designs. There's a design more like a moose, kind of like this one here. It's called the mouth, actually. Okay, it's not opening now, but the mouth does open. I actually bought this for a horror film I was making in 2021, but I've never actually had the funds to do it justice. Where there was a Wendigo and a Sasquatch, for those who watch our last live, a Wendigo and a Sasquatch in it, and this was what the face of the Wendigo was going to look like. Obviously, there's going to be more like makeup and more like detail on it and stuff, but yeah, so yeah, this is one of the designs of what a Wendigo could potentially look like. Sort of like there's two antlers, sort of like a horrific moose-looking snout. The other design is just, kind of like a human face, but like a really large abnormal body. I can pull up some images.
We're talking like, so we came up with the idea of at midnight for, late at night on a Saturday, you can talk about the weird and the wonderful. Mainly because initially we were having discussions about how much you love Bigfoot and how you genuinely believe that they're real, and I said, "There's no way they're real." We would just talk about it in real life, and we said, "Let's talk about it in podcast form,
Hmm.
and record it in some way." And then we said, "Let's talk about other things as well, like But of all the big guns that are out there, I think starting with Bigfoot makes a lot of sense if you're talking about cryptids and monsters and spooky type things. For a second run around, for a second episode, Wendigo and Skinwalkers is an out there topic. How did you not fall in love with, but how did Wendigo become like a subject of fascination for you?
Well, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to put a pause on that question because this is actually like really hurting now. So I'm gonna take it off. I'm sorry. Gosh, all right, just give me a hot second. Oh gosh. Yeah. Now, normally I'm all in for the joke and would wear it, but you can probably see it was like squishing all down here. Last time I felt pain
I
like that.
question your commitment to sparkle motion, man.
Last time I felt pain like that was when I had braces. All right, like that was a whole new, whole different experience. But yeah, so when it goes Skinwalkers, it's a bit of like a random thing to go off, right? You would assume that we potentially went on to like the Loch Ness monster,
Yeah, like there's some
Chupacabra. It's pretty
the big
popular.
ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but I mean, I think we were talking one time about the horror game Until Dawn and how it's getting a remaster.
Mm. Is it getting a remaster for PS5 and stuff?
Yeah, PS5. It's coming out
Because
on PC as well.
when you mentioned Skinwalkers of Wendigo, I knew what you were talking about, literally only because I played and loved Until Dawn. Like
Yeah,
I'd literally never heard of them before in my life. Not that I have extensive knowledge of Native American folklore and urban legends, monsters. I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah, so I obviously I know that from Until Dawn kind of lore. So it's essentially uh spirits that make people go bad and turn to
yeah,
cannibals. And if you become a cannibal, then you're essentially turning into a Wendigo over time as well. And it's like a whole circular thing, isn't it?
yeah. So I've got some images here that I'd like to share. So, like for example, this sort of look here with like the antlers, the moose head, and stuff like that. So that's one of the designs, right? You can kind of see with this one and these ones all here, they've
Yeah.
got some kind of antlers sort of look, right? But then the
Okay.
ones from like a Until Dawn, I mean, this one's literally a photo of one from Until Dawn, right? But it's like these sort of like designs and looks. It's more human-like, but the body is just really stretched out, right? And yeah, so it's
So this is specific to Native American culture, Indian culture. Um, we talked about when we did Bigfoot, that Bigfoot is Sasquatch, is Yeti, is um
Yowie,
Yowie. Essentially,
yeah,
they're all like there's different versions of the same thing, right?
mm,
Like we know that there's essentially the Asian dragon and the European dragon. Is this the Wendigo Skinwalker? Is that just Native American only? Is there other cultures that have their version
from
of?
from
Do
what
you
I
know of?
know, it's just Native American. I think I may have read a story one time of a like Wendigo type thing. Oh, like it was a fictional story,
Mm.
but it was like one in like Russia, right, with some of like the high mountains and like the cold they have up there, right? But it's definitely Wendigos are a cold environment type creature, specifically in north, I guess like Canada, Russia and stuff, up high on mountains and stuff as well.
Okay.
Those sort of
So
areas.
maybe like to Inuit culture and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So what from your understanding, what's the if you didn't believe in a literal Wendigo, right? And the story that you hear to me sounds like a boogeyman. It's just the generic story that parents tell kids to say, don't go up in the hills alone at night. There's monsters. There's a Wendigo. Careful, kids. The Wendigo will get you. That
Yeah.
sort of thing. It's just a cautionary tale and their version of the boogeyman that we use to scare kids into behaving, which is really kind of fucked up mental torture. Now that I think about it, like, hey, if you're not good, a literal supernatural being that murders and eats people will come and get you, and
It will literally
please
tear
be,
you in half.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's my first initial like logical brain reaction. There's this monster thing. Here's what it is, and I go, well, here's why that folklore, why that tale even exists. It's just another boogeyman. What do you think of that?
Well, what's so interesting about Wendigos compared to like Sasquatches and stuff, right? So with the Sasquatch or like a Bigfoot, like there's so many stories of it around the world, but it's all like the exact same thing, right? But with Wendigos and stuff like
they
that,
can't even get it right. There's no like one.
Yeah, it's like there's like many different sort of designs on what it could look like, and there's nothing which when it comes to Wendigos, in terms of making an argument, does it exist, does it not? Unlike Sasquatches, I haven't been able to find any sort of concrete evidence or any sort of evidence. It's like, yes, this is, like you get what I mean? Like there's nothing that's like, yes, absolutely, right?
Funny, funny that.
Yeah.
So I guess this one was this episode, like as far as saying a skeptic and then it's a believer trying to convince me. Like I said during the Bigfoot one, I could see how like I could logic in my brain. I don't think it's necessarily true, but I can see a path where there is a evolutionary split, and a Bigfoot is essentially another branch of it. Like it's an organic like animal being, right? Like it's not supernatural. It's just another version of animals that we know. A hominid, human, ape like creature makes sense. But we're talking now like pure supernatural like monsters, right?
Yeah.
This is in the realm of, this is not potentially biological cryptid. Like maybe a chupacabra can be some sort of animal we haven't really discovered yet, right? Loch Ness monster could be a diplodocus or whatever the swimming dinosaur was.
Plesiosaur,
A plesiosaur, whatever it is, got stuck, right? And has its like that kind of, you can math that out in your head. But we're talking now in the realm of vampires and ghosts and that sort of like demons and that level, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
It's
That's why you're not going to be able to just go, oh, is there proof out?
Hello?
Like, there's no proof for Bigfoot either. But there's at least people like hunting for them. I don't know if there's videos of people hunting for Wendigo and stuff,
I mean, I feel like Wendigos are much
like,
scarier than Thunder Bigfoot.
I'm looking at StreamYard, and it does say that there's one person watching. I don't know if that's maybe if it automatically says one all the time because we're on it.
I'm not sure.
But if there is someone out there, if you want to chuck a comment in, go for it. Like, tell us what you think of.
Yeah, we'd love your opinion.
I don't know if it is or not, or we're just talking to ourselves. But either way, I'm enjoying the chat so far about Wendigo and Skinwalkers. But what we can do as well, Mucky, because it's not like unlike on TNT with Chris, we've got monetization and things like that to worry about. We're just having a chat on a Saturday night. Let's react to videos. Like, what are there things like? What's a good video we can just pause, react to, break down, see if there's a good one we can get like a little bit chills up our spine and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, let me have a look because I have been watching a lot of like Wendigo sort of based things. Let me see. Can I search my history? I can't. That's a bit weird. Okay. Let me just search up Wendigo and see what sort of comes up. But yeah, like with Wendigos and stuff, like there's nothing really sort of like what sort of makes sense. Like with the Bigfoot, you could make
there's not even the pretend. document
Yeah,
to pretending to be legit footage and stuff, right?
yeah. Like there's none of that.
There's not even an attempt,
It's.
right?
I mean, which. I mean, like I could kind of see that, right? It's like when it comes to like a Sasquatch or something, right? It's sort of like it's not coming at you, right? But the whole thing about Wendigos is that it will specifically be hunting you, kind of like what a Velociraptor was sort of made to be like in the Jurassic Park films and stuff like that, right? It's like
Who?
it's not
So
gonna
who?
like.
From your understanding, who is it hunting? Like, what is it? What are the stories? What does the law say? Is it specifically like bad people? Again, is it a warning story? Is it the boogeyman that says don't do this because
So
X?
so once again, there's like multiple different stories about it, right? So you've got the like the ritual and stuff like that, right? The rituals about it where it's a Wendigos are a sign of death, right? And like afterlife and stuff, kind of like an Anubis type thing, right?
Mm.
And there are even movies like Pet Cemetery, for example, right, made by the great legend, Stephen King, like the original novel. And the Pet Cemetery, where sort of you can make things sort of come back to life, but they're much more evil. There's actually a Wendigo guarding it. And I didn't even know that, but when I read the book, it's like, yeah, there's like Wendigos and stuff in there. This sort of guards that sort of sacred area where you
In
can
Pet
bring
Cemetery.
people back to life. In
Well,
Pet Cemetery,
I
yeah.
guess the Pet
And
Cemetery. It's a Native American burial ground, isn't it? Like it is
yeah,
in Pet Cemetery. It's American, so
yeah. And so it's
that
kind
makes
of always
sense.
been like
Okay.
this spiritual sort of um demonic thing, right? And then you do have the other story in terms of like it is just like a wild creature, but once again, it's a wild creature that's based on a spirit because it's based on a human committing cannibalism, like that's a
And
sin,
becoming a monster
and then
themselves.
becoming
Yeah.
this monster, right? And so yeah, it's really hard to be like, oh, here is a person turning into a skinwalker. You get what I mean? Like there's
Yeah,
nothing
of
like that. There's
course.
no
But there's not
documentary
even
on.
like there's no one like with found footage or footage of like a Wendigo running through the bush or something like, that sort of thing,
Actually,
right?
speak of Wendigos, I just found a Skinwalker contemplation, so I'll save that. We
Oh,
can watch
like
it a
the
bit later.
Skinwalker Ranch.
No. It's like of different animals and whatnot. Hang on,
Oh, we should look up
real.
the Skinwalker Ranch thing if there's
We
YouTube videos on
definitely
that.
should. Real Wendigo. We'll go sightings. See if there's anything. I found one that's literally like 2 hours long. Let's see. Are they stories or? Okay, yeah, so I got this one, which is just like a story. It's not really like it's just people like sharing experiences. If that sort of makes
Of
sense.
of Skinwalkers, of Wendigo.
Of Wendigos, yeah, but no like footage or videos or anything.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Shoot.
just shoot that.
Yeah, let's do it.
The 2 hour one.
Oh, 2 hours. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's see if it's interesting. If it's not, we'll stop. Who cares?
yeah.
We
Right,
don't
so
have to watch the whole thing, especially if I get bored.
yeah. Right.
Basically forest necromorphs, aren't they? Oh, hey, welcome back to Unexplained Encounters. I'm your host, Darkness Prevails, and you can follow me on Twitter at Dark Prevails, where I dream of trying a bison steak and make covers to books that don't exist. Today I've got a huge compilation of allegedly real Wendigo sightings that will either make you at the sight of every branch that looks a
Full screen
little
it?
bit set of antlers.
Full screen.
Enjoy, and
Yeah.
be sure to send me your scary stories at
turn it down, like,
darkstory.org
slightly.
so I can narrate them on this show.
Oh,
I'm looking for stories about unexplained things seen in state parks or encounters with alleged
all good?
demons. If you
Yeah,
want
and I
more scary
think we
content
can
like this, check out
talk over it if we need to as well.
eeriecast.com.
Yeah.
Now, let's begin.
20 real Wendigo
Prologue.
sightings.
From
Okay.
Terrible Fate 89. I used to camp in the Ozarks. Camping was a hobby of mine, but it isn't so much anymore. This experience kind of ruined it for me. Have you ever been so traumatized or scared of something You avoid anything that reminds you of it. That's how I feel about this. To this day, I don't know what it was. A few years ago, I was camping alone in the Ozarks of Missouri, pretty close to the border of Arkansas. The weather was dreary. It'd been pouring rain for hours, and the forecast, according to my phone, said that the rain would keep coming for the next couple of days. I was alone as I usually was, something I regret now. The
This
thing
might put me
was,
to
I
sleep,
didn't
bro.
really have many friends that enjoyed camping like I
What's
did,
that?
so I was
I said
usually
this.
always
He's got
alone.
such a
But now I
ASMR
regret not asking
thing going on.
someone,
I'm like, this might actually
anyone,
put me to
if they
sleep with the
wanted to go
beautiful
camping.
scenery and stuff.
Yeah.
It started the first evening,
Yeah.
when I was still walking but considering pitching my tent somewhere. Rain trickled down around me on the trees and on the ground. Tiny little streams of
Like a
water began to
story.
form on the dirt and rocks.
Is a whole video like
I was
this? Have you
hoping
watched
I
this at
wasn't
all?
going to get flooded
I haven't,
away,
no.
but I was on top of a hill, so it should flow down, and I should have nothing to worry about, I told myself. In the
I can't do
midst of
this
the raindrops,
the whole
I
way.
began to hear something else.
Yeah, neither.
They were light,
Shall I find
fluffy
something else?
Okay, good.
footsteps,
Okay.
like
What
the
about
steps of a
some
small
shorts or
but
something?
curious person.
Alright, let's see.
TikTok.
Boom. Go back.
Just click on shorts at the top.
Shorts.
Yeah. No. Go back to the results and
Oh, that one.
filter. Yeah.
Alright.
Real
Alright.
Wendigo.
Real Wendigo sounds caught on camera.
Oh, it sounds. Okay, that one I know is AI. Or like it's yeah, I know that it's not
Real
a real
Wendigo
one.
sounds caught on camera.
Do you want to
Okay.
know how I know it's not a real one?
How?
Because I used a sound similar to it to try and make my my horror film. So I'd found one
Oh,
which is
okay.
basically of this guy who makes computer generated animal sounds. And then like we're trying to like see if we can make one that sounds similar.
Yeah, well.
Should we check this one out?
Yeah,
Real
go.
Wendigo.
The video I'm about to show you is freaking out the internet. Take a look.
Freaking out! Oh shit!
The video I'm about to show you is freaking out the internet. Take a look at this deer and watch what it does. People believe that this deer was shape-shifting and that it might be a Wendigo. Wendigos are cannibalistic shapeshifters from Algonquin folklore.
Not really
This could be
shapeshifters.
a Wendigo about to shapeshift into its true form, and it caught the camera and it's like, oh shit, can't do it now. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. The video
Fuck,
I'm
that was
about to
dumb.
Yeah, that's really dumb.
Maybe shorts is not a good idea. What's that top 5 one? Was it only 11 minutes?
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Was that any good? Is that just stories? It's gonna. No, there's a dude there. Okay.
Let's see. Oh, sorry for the ads.
Hey, I'll give you a tip, man.
Petabytes.
Yeah.
Do you have
Home better
Spotify? Do
for
you
the
pay for
ultimate
Spotify at all?
whole food,
Oh, yeah, I've got
hot
Spotify, yeah.
snack on the go.
You know what?
Wilcox.
Don't pay for
We grow
Spotify. Pay for
goodness.
YouTube Premium, and then you
Want
get
to
ad-free
flawless
YouTube,
glow?
as
Try
well as
Maybelline Instant
access
Fix.
to YouTube
Welcome back,
Music,
my friend.
which has all music on YouTube instead
Oh,
of
really?
Spotify. You just use YouTube Music.
And
what
you
it
can use YouTube Music offline.
yeah, and in the background as well, like with your phone
Oh,
in
okay.
sleep mode and stuff. And same as YouTube. So like when we do the podcasts and all that sort of thing, if I'm ever listening to podcasts, I'll listen via YouTube and I can turn my phone off and just listen to it like it's a normal audio podcast. And then if they're talking about something that you want to look at, like if someone starts playing the recorder and singing ridiculously bad,
I wonder who would that be?
you can just go back and look at it. So I actually listen to my podcast with YouTube because it allows you to actually just listen in the background, like play music in the
Okay.
background. Yeah, and so
Okay.
I've got the YouTube app to watch YouTube videos, but then you have YouTube specific, like YouTube music only, so you can just listen, like it more focus on the music. And the good thing
Mm.
about that one is when you play a song, you can play like the normal music, like the album version, and it's got the lyrics and all that sort of thing. But then you just click at the a tab at the top, and you can watch the video as well. You know what I mean?
Oh, awesome.
So then you've got
Awesome.
both options there. So it costs about the same, I think. I've got this like family plan. So I've got all the kids with ad-free YouTube and all that. Like I've got 5 accounts on or whatever it is. But instead of paying for Spotify where it's just music, I just pay for YouTube and have music as well as ad-free YouTube, which makes a massive difference.
Absolutely. All
There's
right.
a hint, yeah.
Friends from beyond the screen. I'm Taylor, your casual crypt keeper, and I've got something for you today. Today, we are going to be headed out into the woods to investigate some strange sightings of creatures I couldn't even begin to understand. Make sure you got yourself a full stomach and you're not getting hungry at all, because we are going to be diving into the top 5 unexplained Wendigo sightings that prove they are among us. Now, we've been doing a lot of videos about stuff like this, but you let me know down below if there's a cryptid you got a real hankering for.
using that
That
word
you'd
a
love
bit
to see some
slightly,
top 5 lists.
Yeah.
I'm a big Mothman guy myself. Now, let's get into it. Number 5, some
Mothman.
strange noises. One of the creature's signature calling cards is said to be its horrific wails, its pained shrieks that don't sound like any animal you'd recognize. It's also said that it's been able to imitate human voices to better lure out its prey. And perhaps those disconcerting sounds were caught on tape as recently as 2019, when a series of howls and shrieks left a hunter and a government biologist searching for answers as to what was going on in those woods. Gino Mikas was hunting with his wife and grandson in northwest Ontario in a fairly remote rural area, about 50 kilometers away from the nearest sign of civilization, most likely an en route. Sorry, rest of the world, that joke is just for Ontario. It's a Canadian cryptid, what can I say? At first, I thought it was a moose, but my
Wendigo
mind changed
Canadian?
when it screamed again and again.
Yeah.
Mikas is an avid hunter, a resident of Sioux
Like a
Lookout,
Northern
and knows
American
his way
type.
around the woods and what creatures should be living in it. He added on saying, I've heard many different animals in the wild, but nothing like this. I grew up hunting with my grandfather for the first 12 years of my life. The howls initially came from the distance, but soon appeared closer. We've got the clip, so why don't you take a listen for yourself and see what you think. Now, some speculated that it could be a grizzly bear. However, there's not a lot of evidence for that, since grizzlies don't really live in these surrounding areas. They are known to roam, but there's not reports of grizzly bears nearby. Others speculated that it could be a wolf, which definitely is possible, but you would think...
Yeah.
So what do you think of that sound?
So to me, when I heard that sound, normally that sounds similar to like some kind of like Sasquatch growl. If that sort of makes sense. Like that was my first initial reaction. I would be like, oh, they could be like a squatch type thing, not necessarily a Wendigo. How about you?
Yeah, I thought it was a bear as well. And when he said, people thought it was a bear, but they're not in the area, but they are known to roam. And they're like, a bear's not likely. They do roam, but it's not that likely. Fucking must be a Wendigo then.
Yeah.
Like that's what's the most logical step? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
What's that thing about the simplest someone's law or something? The simplest thing is often the answer. Like if it know, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it must be a duck. Like you don't go to horse. And that's the same thing. Like, it's probably a bear. Nah, it can't be a bear because it's not an area. Therefore, let's supernatural, cannibalistic. Yeah. It can't be a bear, so it must be this. Like what? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's something where it's like, obviously there are different types of like bears and stuff. But when I first heard that, it's like that sounds similar to like what a lot of like Sasquatches tend to sound like when they play like recorded footage of Sasquatch growls and stuff. Yeah. Nah, but like from my own sort of deep dive and stuff like that, I sort of found that Wendigos are more like screechy rather than like a deep sort of growl, if that sort of makes sense.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's see what else he says. So have you seen this bloke before?
Seasoned hunter would recognize.
Sorry, what's that?
Have you seen this bloke before?
No.
He seems to cover cryptids and stuff, so we might see what's on his list of videos. If
Yeah.
we go to future topics, he might be a go-to man.
Maybe.
Let's go. Yeah.
Wolf. So there's a number of people who speculate that this could be the mythical Wendigo caught on tape. And if you're looking for way more stories of folklore, creatures, cryptids, well, you already know what channel I'm going to recommend. It's the one you're watching right now. We've got tons and tons of scary lists just waiting for you to discover. So hit that subscribe button. Please make sure to hit that bell so you don't miss a single scream and get all caught up. But do that at the end of this video if you wouldn't mind. I got way more Wendigo sightings coming up for you. Number 4, Southern Ontario sighting. Our next story also comes to us from my home province of Ontario. Makes a lot of sense. It's where a number of regional myths revolving around the Wendigo all originally stem from. Now, this one comes to us from an anonymous Redditor who posted to the Skinwalkers subreddit, detailing a strange encounter that they had, possibly with the creature. You take a listen to this. I decided to take my dog out for a walk this afternoon and not put my headphones in. As we were walking along, I heard a voice calling out my name in a sing-songy way. I stopped and looked around, and I called for my dog to come back to me, and he stopped where he was and stared at me for a while.
Yeah.
We got someone in the chat. It is my man Arthur. This is a friend of mine for like 20 plus years now.
Yo, what's up, Arthur?
How you doing, buddy? My man Art is Brazilian. I know they've got their own cryptids and monsters and stuff that they would have deep in the Amazon there. They would have some pretty full-on ideas. But Art, do you know much about Skinwalkers and Wendigo, Native American cryptids / supernatural monsters?
Yeah,
that's what we're looking at here.
I mean, there must be some wild stories that come from the Amazon. Yeah, from Brazil as well. Like, I recall reading one about the 100-foot long anaconda.
Yeah, but that's legit. That's animals. They're just saying that the real animals that exist, like there's big versions of it, which makes sense. But to have like Wendigos, like we said, we're now delving into ghosts and supernatural.
Yeah.
So Art said they got chupacabra
and aliens.
Chupacabra and some aliens is what we got.
Yeah, I'd say aliens is really popular across America, and that's something we could definitely dive deep into whenever we do our aliens podcast, going about if you're a UFO flying into Earth, where would you sort of want to go? Because there's a lot of blue, right, which solves the ocean, and so I'd kind of love to look at maybe like a global map on what is popular in terms of UFO sort of sightings.
Well, apparently they only ever go to like rural areas of the USA specifically.
Yeah, like the real.
I don't know why. But... Yeah.
I mean, I do have my one experience as well, and here in small little New Zealand, one of the big cities. Yeah,
that'll be for the alien one.
Yeah,
that'll be for the alien one. So chupacabra in Brazil. So let's go Skinwalkers. What else? What are they saying about it?
While and then eventually came to me. I didn't acknowledge it. I walked around a little more and still didn't see anything. Now, I live with my parents, and my mom knows that stories about skinwalkers freak me out. A few days ago, we were having a bonfire, and she hid and tried to call for me in a scary voice to freak me out. So I assumed this was the same thing happening. I continued walking, and I heard, "Come over here." And I was so freaked out because this sounded like it was my voice saying it. And I heard this so much more clearly, like it was coming from inside my head. I have no idea what was out there this afternoon, but I can tell you for certain I will never walk out there without my headphones on again. Can honestly say this was the weirdest experience of my life. Now, if you believe the...
Sorry, I just want to point something out here, Kahuna. All right. So
is he wearing a balaclava?
Huh?
The drawing, you go, what's that drawing? It looked like he was wearing some sort of balaclava or like...
exactly. But like apparently this guy, it's like, okay, so it's some creepy experience where he hears something call out to him, right? And there's stories of Wendigos and stuff like that, and something that your friend brings up. something about being more than 25 and saying I live with my parents. That's a good thing to bring up. But like, he's literally like, okay, so I walk down this track, I hear this thing call out to me. At first, it's sweet innocent voice, and then it's my own voice, and I'm completely like creeped the fuck out. So, moral of the story: so I can still walk down that track as long as I'm wearing my headphones. Like it was, like,
you know what I thought was funny? The fact that he goes like, again, if I'm using logical thought here, right? And he goes,
Yeah.
and I heard the voice. It sounded like my own. It almost he goes, it almost sounded like it was inside my own head. Maybe you're hearing the voice inside your own fucking head. Like when like maybe it wasn't a Wendigo. Maybe you're hearing shit in your head, man. Like
Yeah, exactly. Nah, but I mean, sometimes it is hard to like describe weird things, right? And I know, you know, from like, for example, one of my jobs at the moment, right? So I work at a sensory maze, right? And when we close up at night, which is like, you know, 10 or like 11 p.m.
maze. Do you really?
Yeah, it's one of my jobs. And
One of my jobs.
yeah, I've got 4 jobs at the moment, actually. I'm hustling.
All right, let's list the jobs out because I think of the jobs that I know, you may just like, I don't know if people recognize how cool your jobs actually are.
All right, so let's start off. Well, obviously, you know, the sensory maze is one.
A sensory maze.
A sensory maze, yeah, down here in the middle of Queen Street.
Is that like completely pitch black and you feel your way through?
Nah, so it's more like a thing that's based for kids. So it's like, you know, flashing lights, movable lights and stuff. They're all these cool different interactive rooms. There's like a mirror maze at one point where it's all just a reflection of yourself.
That is a
really
fun job. Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. It's really fun. But the problem is you have to clean it at night, like all the glass and everything, the mats for the foam pit and the ball pit. Really funny story. Working last night, we had this, you know, lovely lesbian couple come in, and they were going to town in the foam pit, like, you know, making out, like a lot of touching and stuff. And my coworker and I were just staring at each other. We're like, the fuck are we supposed to do? Do like go through the maze and tell them, "Oi, stop!" Like,
yes,
you know,
were there kids
like,
around?
There was like other adults, like, you know, going through and stuff, but eventually they stopped and they, you know, completed the maze. We didn't know what to say to them afterwards. Like, I thought about saying, "Hey guys, love the passion," but but you can't do that.
Not opposed at all. In fact,
yeah,
I'd be happy to watch generally as a normal.
But yeah, no, we just let them go though, because we're like, you know, it's just gonna be awkward if we brought up like, hey, we're watching you guys make out. But
love is love. yeah. Like, how long were you watching for? You're like, long enough. Like,
no, but anyway, so like, you know, part of the maze is like this really like narrow tunnel you have to go through, right? And at one, and like this, like, you know, creepy sort of ominous music and stuff. And at one point, I thought I heard my own name as well. Do I think it was a Wendigo spirit? No, I think it's just in my own head. But you can definitely, like start to feel that set within, right? Because it's like a dark, narrow, creepy, ominous music of playing and stuff. And like it's so easy to get in your own head, right? And yeah, this is obviously coming from someone who does believe in spirits, does believe in Sasquatches, Loch Ness monsters and stuff. But like, it is true. Like, you know, you can get in your own head sometimes and freak yourself out. And that's what I think kind of happened with this guy here. I think, you know, he already said he's naturally scared of like skinwalker stories and stuff. His mum played a prank on him, you know, the day before or something. I think he was just in his own head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Should have been, yeah.
Anyway,
Arthur had advice for you. He said you should have yelled, "Get a room."
Yeah, probably.
The foam pit is not a room.
Yeah, my coworker and I, we now call it the sizzling scissor room because it's, you know, a lesbian couple.
What about when all the kids are in there? Is it still the sizzling sizzle room?
Yeah. We just call it that. It's just between us, and our goal is to make everyone else.
Wait,
Start
did you
calling
say
it that, and not
sizzling?
like-
Did you say sizzling? Sizzle?
Yeah,
Or scissoring?
sizzling, scissoring, like sizzling scissors, because it's a
Oh,
lesbian couple.
scissors.
So it's like it's a
Okay,
lesbian
yeah,
couple,
yeah.
so it's like scissors, and it's sizzling because it was hot and spicy, right? Kind of like when you're doing a barbecue. So it's like
Sizzling scissors.
Yeah, but that's one of my jobs. Another one of my jobs is I work at a chocolate store where we make our own chocolate, hot chocolates, iced chocolates, all that sort of stuff, handmade,
Do you
crafted
really?
chocolate. Yeah. Well, I'm still.
Why have you
I'm still
not
pretty
sent me
new to
some
there.
chocolate?
I mean, I probably can actually. Yeah, I can hand make you some chocolate and send it
Actually,
to
you
you.
know what you should do? 100%. I
Yeah.
like. I don't know if you've come across them or seen them. Not necessarily. I think there are chocolate ones, but the people that work at ice cream shops, candy making stores, even like Subways and Burger Kings, people that work in those industries have a GoPro strapped to their chest. If you're making
Yeah.
handmade chocolates, you put it on TikTok, you'll get fucking views, man.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, you can probably have a look. I think we do have like a TikTok and an Instagram. It's called Cocoa Wilds.
Oh, there you
It
go.
used to,
Yeah.
it used to be Bohemian Fish chocolates, but the new guy bought it, changed everything about it, and yeah, he's made it cocoa. And then what is it? And then my other job is, so I used to work for a vault. So a vault is like not James the Vault from $1 Million Island, but it's like a room with like a lot of safes under lock and key. You can open them up, and there's like a safe. You put all your personal belongings and stuff. At the start of 2023, we got hit by the big flood that happened in Auckland, and pretty much everything got washed away. Majority of our customers' personal items got completely drenched.
There's an offer for you there, Mucky. Free flight from Art. He's a flight instructor. If you get him some
Actually,
chocolate.
fun fact: my father is a pilot for Air New Zealand. My stepmom, flight attendant. My blood mother, she does health and safety for like airports across New Zealand. My ex stepdad, he did what is it, like drone management. He was in charge of all like the drone licensing and stuff like that here in New Zealand. And this new guy that my blood mother is seeing, he's apparently like a helicopter instructor now down in Christchurch. Yeah, it's a small world. You potentially might know them, Richard Hope and Natalie Hunt. Yeah, they're quite cool people. And yeah, but with the Vault, it's starting to make a comeback, and I'm now doing sales and marketing for them. Mostly just marketing, so it's mostly just a work from home type role. And my most famous role that I'm working now is I'm a creative producer's assistant for TV3, which is really sick.
Was there an ice cream shop somewhere there as well?
No, it's just a chocolate.
Just a chocolate shop.
But
so you got chocolate shop, you got the Century Maze. You work in TV, reality TV production, and marketing for a Vault company.
Yeah. That's life of Mucky Hope, baby. 7 days a week.
It's a lot of jobs. It's hustle grind culture here. Mucky's one of those dudes that I didn't know that about you, but you're apparently just one of those dudes that's like, I wake up at 5 a.m., work out, first job done by 10 a.m. I'm on to the second job. Wake up for the Asia market. Hustle harder, man. Hustle grind.
Yeah,
that's you, right?
I don't want to shit talk Chris or anything, but something that does always make me laugh is when it's like, oh gosh, I've got a 6 hours sleep or like an 8 hours sleep. It's like sometimes I've got like 3 hours sleep. And like there's one of our podcasts, the Australian Spider Times vs. Rebels cast breakdown. I had to Uber straight to work.
Yeah,
straight after
crazy.
that, and I did like a 12-hour shift, and it's like to me that's normal. Like that's
not
normal
advisable.
Work.
Not advisable at all.
I definitely don't recommend it, but like, I'm used to that kind of work, right? And so when Chris is like, oh, I struggled to do like, 9 to 7 today. I'm like, bro, I did 15 hours. What are you talking? What are you talking about? I love Chris a bit, but yeah, it's
Nah, man. I just work my normal 8 to 4 clock off, and I'm good. I'm done.
Fair enough.
I got kids. I got I don't have
Yeah,
time for like another job.
I don't have kids yet, sadly, so I've got all the time in the world. If I'm not, watching Survivor or watching Star Wars or Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey,
Winnie the Pooh, yeah.
which is something I do want to see your reaction. We're to the end of the live. I want to see your reaction to the
Winnie the
trailer.
Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey
Alright.
too. All right.
So far, Wendigos and Skinwalker. This guy, we got one that we're like, meh.
And then one that's like, nah.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's keep watching, eh?
What else has he got?
The legends and folklore, if you hear the creature calling out for you, the only correct thing to do is to ignore its attempts to lure you away. You don't want to go toe to toe with this thing. You're not going to stand a chance. So it sounds like the original poster in this situation, even though they were scared out of their wits, still made the right decision and got off with just a scare and a story instead of something much, much worse. Number 3, the man in my scope. This next story comes to us from an interview that a YouTuber, Funkalopagus, did with a hunter who thinks he had an encounter with the creature or something else deeply strange late at night. He originally posted this story to Reddit with the name Perpetual Connection, so that's what we'll call him if it comes up. He says he was hunting boar. He was saving up for a while to get a special thermal vision scope. He took it to a range and waited from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. to find a good boar to bag, but surprisingly wasn't finding anything. And he noted that the area that he went up to was shockingly empty of wildlife, no deer, no rabbits, no coyotes, nothing, as opposed to it usually being pretty plentiful. So he was getting himself ready to leave, assuming it must have just been a bad day, when he heard a crunch come from the direction that he'd entered the park. So he raised his scope to see what it was and saw initially what he assumed was a bear, some big mass on his scope. He zoomed in a bit and jolted when he realized it wasn't a bear, but looked a bit more like a man. Now, what was disturbing him was that he was about 30 miles away from any other public areas. And there were no other cars parked around, no wildlife to speak of. The only other living thing next to him was this person in his scope, who happened to be completely naked, twitching and grabbing at all the foliage. The OP then says that the mysterious figure looked up at him and in an extremely unsettling, high-pitched feminine voice began to call out for help. The hunter believed that he was being trapped and scrambled to escape. He said it didn't sound like this voice should be coming from this entity. And he said that the creature was staring at him with a wide smile and unfurled itself standing on its back legs, standing 6 feet tall or maybe more. He pointed his weapon at the unknown entity and warned for it to stand down and said that it arched on its fours again and hissed at him like a cat before disappearing into the brush, screeching in wail. The hunter would return to his car and drive off in an absolute panic, I think like most of us would, and he would tell authorities what he saw.
Because this is a shot of driving off in a massive panic.
Through the suburbs.
But he was only reprimanded for hunting at night. I mean, fair enough. If I reported that story to the sheriff or something, I think I, as the sheriff, would hear that and just, scratch that off, be like, oh, I'm not messing with that. So what do you think? Did he happen to come across someone in the woods who was just having a wild night on all of the substances, or was that a close encounter with death that he narrowly avoided? Number 2, the 2019 sighting. This next sighting happened in 2019.
What do you think of the hunter?
At the same time as the first.
No. I don't know. I don't know. So from what I know about Wendigos, right, and my own personal research about them and stuff like that, because, as I mentioned a few times throughout this live, I was making a horror film that involved Wendigos and stuff. So I was putting as much research into Wendigos and stuff, how they'd look, how they would act and stuff like that. Because with the actor I had playing as a Wendigo, I was going through all of it with him. And something that I sort of found about Wendigos is that they are hunters. Even in games like Until Dawn stuff, it's like a horror game, but they don't just let you go. They strike, they come at you. I feel like if you were to compare Wendigo to something, it is like the Jurassic Park velociraptors. They're not just going to let you go. They're always hunting you at all times, right? And so...
But are they, in the lore that you've researched, are they also because they are supernatural by nature, are they just out and about like that, or they targeted and summoned, sent like if you're a particularly
Ooh.
bad person, a Wendigo will get you. If you're a cannibal, a Wendigo will get you. Or like you know what I mean? Like if you do particularly bad things, that you sort of get targeted or marked for the Wendigo, or are they just kind of roaming the earth randomly?
See, once again, that's a hard one because there's many different stories, right? There are stories of like Wendigos just roaming the earth in the area randomly, but then you do have the stories of, like if you commit cannibalism. But with that one, it's not necessarily a creature comes after you. It's like it's literally all in your head and you just start transforming.
Yeah, you
right?
become a Wendigo.
Yeah. You become the Wendigo. So it's like the spirit,
Yeah.
like somehow able to attach itself to you.
Yeah, because it's essentially
But
saying like you've become, by doing that act, you are
the
a monster. You've eaten,
Yeah.
you've eaten. So like again, like if you think, the funny and weird thing is, like, if it is one of those folklore stories made up to warn against a particular behavior, right? Like the boy who cried wolf is so that kids don't tell lies, right? You tell a
Yeah.
lie, and then one day the wolf is going to get you because no one believed you. Like, we're not going to believe you when it matters, right? That's the thing, right? The Wendigo, you have to wonder what came about where they're like, hey man, if you eat people, you turn into a Wendigo. Stop eating. Don't
Yeah.
cannibalize. Like, how rampant was the cannibalism that they need to start spreading stories in order to tamp it down?
I mean,
Make sure you don't be a cannibal, otherwise
I'm,
you'll turn into a Wendigo.
I'm not sure about Aboriginal like legends or anything, but I know here in New Zealand with Aotearoa with Māori tribes, cannibalism was quite popular.
Yeah.
Actually, like you would eat people
There
from
were
like different
cannibal
tribes and stuff.
Aboriginal
Yeah.
tribes as well. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like it's funny, like, that it would have to have been so prevalent to the point where you have to make that up. Like, like, what are the stories about, like, getting young boys to stop masturbating? You get hairy palms, or you go, you're blind. I'm wearing glasses.
Or if, even better, it's like have you seen the horror film It Follows
It
or
follows.
heard of it? Yeah.
I've heard of it. Have I seen that one?
So it's a horror film about an STD, a sexually transmitted disease, where if you have
Nope.
this specific
Not seen that.
STD, this thing is following you. Now it's only at walking pace, right? Like it can climb, it can swim, it can do anything. Like it can't fly or anything, but it's always coming after you, and it's always at walking pace, right?
What is it?
Well, it's just a thing. Like it can be like, so it can be anyone or anything you know. But
And it follows you.
Yeah, it just follows you everywhere. But
At
if it
walking
gets
pace.
you, you die, right? Well, unless if you're the main character of the film, then it'll just just lift your hair up.
This movie sounds shit, Mucky.
Like it's a really good idea. The first half of the film is phenomenal, but the second half is just shit. Like it's actually terrible, the second half. But yeah, but the whole point is that it can be anyone or anything that's just walking towards you at all times trying to get you. And yeah, if it gets you, you die.
What about a snail? Is it a snail?
I mean, it could be a snail, but it's always that.
Do you know that thing with the snail? It reminded me of that. There's a question. It's like, would you take $1 billion or whatever it is, right? But the catch is that there's a snail that is always after you forever, and if it touches you, you're dead. But it's a snail. It moves like a snail. But if it gets you, you're dead. It sounds like it follows. That sounds like the thing. But I've heard, would you take the $1 billion and have in the back of your mind, like, there's a snail that's like, he's just constantly always coming after me, even though it's a snail and it moves slowly, it's just nonstop always coming after me. Would you take the $1 billion to have that, like, gnawing on your brain kind of thing?
Would you?
Fuck yeah, it's a snail.
Yeah. True, yeah, just like move to a different country for like a few
Yeah,
years.
you move to another country.
Yeah.
And even if a snail, like, because, you know, it's obviously we're talking about a fictional scenario where a snail's going to come after you forever. Even if it could figure out how to get on a boat or a plane or whatever, like, you know, it would still take months, if not years, to get to the other side of the earth. And then as long as you move to the other side of the planet every 6 months or every 12 months or whatever it is,
Yeah.
you know, you're probably fine. Like, it's going to take a while for it to catch you.
I mean, there's a
Or
similar
you just
argument to it follows actually. My friend actually found a way to crack it because the thing is that if you don't have the STD or you haven't had it, then you can't see it, right? And the
Right.
only way to get rid of
Is it literally an STD?
it's literally an STD. So the only way to get rid of it,
What a
right,
fucking weird movie.
is
Yeah.
if you hook up with someone else, then you pass it on to them, or if you die, the STD comes back to you, right? So something that you could do is that you could just hook up with like a really famous prostitute or like sex worker, and in that way they'll keep passing it on regardless, right? But I mean, because even if that other person dies, it just goes back to the prostitute, and then the prostitute's job is literally to hook up with people, right? So that could be a way
Yeah,
to
but
fix
then all
it.
those people are dying.
Yeah, oh, yeah, true. Eventually, it would end up catching up to it,
But that's
something
still
that
like
might
you've given it to the most weaponized potential person there is, right? You're just getting all these men, all these clients killed.
yeah, true. But what my friend figured out, right, is that you can put physical objects on it. Like at one point, they put like someone puts like a blanket over it, and you could see the blanket moving. So something
Throw
that
a
you could
blanket
do,
on it.
right? So
Build a
something that you
little
could
fence
do, right?
around it.
Yeah, put a little fence. I mean, like it is smart, it is intelligent, it knows how to break into houses and shit, right? Like it is intelligent. But what you do is that you go to what my friend said, right? So you go to a police station and you go, hey, look, I know you're not going to believe me, but there's this invisible thing that's following me and it's going to kill me. But if you let me borrow one jail cell and I'll get my friend throw some paint on it, then you can see it's like an actual thing, right? And they're like, all right, fine, whatever. So the thing's following you, goes into it. You get your friend to throw paint onto it so that people can see it's like an actual thing, right? Because then they'll see the paint forms like a human sort of thing, and it keeps following you. All you got to do is somehow lure it into the cell, get out of it before it grabs you, and then just lock it in. It's
All you
not
gotta
going to
do.
be able to break out. Yeah, and that's literally how you fix the whole issue.
Well, that's all you got to do.
Yeah, all you got to do. Yeah, easy, right? But yeah. But no, but that's like probably the best way on how to resolve all that, because you can't kill it. You can like stun it, and it'll just drop to the ground for like a wee bit, and then it'll just come back up. Because something that
Yeah, you got to trap it.
Because something that's like really cool about it is that it can be anyone. So it could even be your family member. You get what I mean? But that's something that the film doesn't really explore, unfortunately. But I reckon it would be really cool if there was a scene where it's like the mum is just coming towards her, and then she's like, "Oh, that's not my mum," like type thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I watched Ghostbusters today, Mucky.
Oh, how was that?
The new one, Frozen Empire.
Any good or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're a fan, but I love Ghostbusters. Like, that's like my shit. So when these new ones came out, I was so stoked. I feel like about watching that, like you would feel about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Probably. Should we keep watching this?
Let's go. Like, because so far I'm not impressed, right?
I'm not either. These are pretty average.
Okay, let's go.
Point. Coincidence? Absolutely, but worth mentioning nonetheless. This next story was posted to Reddit by a user named Bradley Innovates. Bradley tells about how he had just been discharged honorably, don't worry, from the Marines and was returning home to his home state of Alabama. Sweet home Alabama, and was catching
to
up
see
visiting
some
our
cousins.
old friends. His best friend
Alabama.
Jacob in particular, the two of them had been friends their whole life and usually got up to, boyhood stuff, hanging out in the woods, that kind of thing. The two of them traveled out to a secluded campsite that they'd enjoyed when they were younger, bringing a long arm with them for target practice. The two were chatting and eventually got onto stories of cryptids in the woods, namely, you guessed it, the Wendigo. His friend told him one could summon this creature by speaking its name 3
That's the
times
one that
into the
you've
woods,
got
like
the mask
Bloody
for,
Mary.
right?
I've said its name like 9 times in this video. I'm
That one's
speaking into
cool.
a camera, so I hope that's okay. I hope I'm not cursing you out there. Might be best just to sage your house a little bit after watching this video. Anyway, Bradley played along and spoke his name out 3 times, only to discover nothing happened until he heard a snap in the woods, and his reflexes instinctively darted backwards. A few coyotes ran by, and his friend decided that it was enough scares for the woods and started to pack up when a tree began to fall forward towards them. Now, if that wasn't already unnerving, the Redditor said the next thing he heard was the voice of his friend's younger sister calling out to them both, except they didn't bring her along and she wasn't anywhere nearby, and that's when both of them knew they were in far deeper trouble than they thought. They claimed that they saw an emaciated, fleshy monster, deathly thin, with next to no meat on its bones, skin as pale as ash, and a vibrant blue eyes. That actually sounds pretty familiar, to be honest. The men fired at it and ran screaming from the woods towards their car. They escaped, horrified by what they saw, but luckily alive. If this story is true, then that has to be a real-life encounter with the creature. Number 1, Jack Fiddler. There truly aren't many sightings or stories of Wendigos, and indigenous people
Jack
don't particularly
Fiddler.
like to share
Isn't that what
these
they call
stories
you,
out
Mucky?
of their tribes. Despite the popularity of apps like TikTok, it's a pretty niche bit of folklore. Of course, it could also be because there are people out there maintaining the local population. Jack Fiddler, or Zanhano Gahengogawa, was an Ojibwe shaman living in Sandy Lake in the late 1800s, early 1900s. He was renowned among his people for being a hunter of the supernatural, defending his tribe from threats that no one else would be willing. There are many documented cases of indigenous people who, feeling themselves lose control to the appetite or the spirit within them, would request that someone close and trusted would be the one to finish them off. This could be a close friend of the family or a family member. It was an act of mutual trust. Zanhano Gahengogawa claims to have felt 14 Wendigos during his lifetime like this. Of course, not everyone would see it this way. By 1906, word would reach the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the Mounties, that to them there was this is a quote, "a band of pagans in the habit of killing one another whenever one gets delirious through fever or other causes." By 1907, the mounted police had arrested Zanhano Gahengogawa and his brother Pescoquan for the death of Pescoquan's daughter-in-law. Locals in the tribe decried the decision, saying they didn't understand, and that the man they were accusing of being a killer was a quiet, dignified man who lived with a clear conscience. After 15 weeks of imprisonment, Zanhano Gahengogawa would escape from the police escort holding him. When they found him, he was lying on a rock with a sash tied in a knot around his neck. It was his way out of escaping persecution. It's kind of a sad end. I probably should have ended on like a joke or something. I don't have one. I don't have a joke about that. Well, that's about all she wrote on this one, my ghouls and goblins. Thanks so much for watching. Creep on creeping on, and I'll see you in the next one, so long as nothing in the woods takes me.
I'm not impressed.
No, Wendigos are a big thumbs down for me, man. Like, as far as even approaching the realm of like, maybe like I said with Bigfoot, I could go, if I squint, I go, maybe if I turn off this little bit of logic, maybe this. But if you don't ask the right questions, but this one is a stretch. I think it's what I said. My theory is it's just parents' story to scare children into being good or not going anywhere. It's the Wendigo will get you. Like, don't cannibalize people. You turn into a Wendigo. That's probably a big one. Like you said, there are tribes where cannibalism is a real thing. So, if there was ever a story that would stop you from doing it, it's that one.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's I was going to say, I'm completely on board with it. Actually, in terms of Wendigos, it's like I feel like it's something really cool that I'd like to think potentially existed one day, but it's also kind of like there's nothing there. If that makes
obviously
sense.
because of like Until Dawn, like I enjoyed that game so immensely, and if they remaster it, maybe I could like play it online or some shit. That'd be awesome. But and I see it as a perfect fodder for an amateur horror filmmaker. Like I can see why it's such a cool like subject matter and topic and stuff that involves the cannibalism and a big scary big bad that you can beat. Like you know what I mean? Like that will chase you
Yeah.
down and visually it looks cool. The horns are awesome. Like I get why it's such a cool story, but to me that one absolutely like is just that story.
Yeah. I mean, I might still have some of the photos about in terms of like location and stuff like that I was going to be doing.
Mhm.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I can actually show you some photos of the forest we're going to be filming at if you want to have a
Yeah.
look.
So the same
Right.
place that has like Hobbiton and Lord of the Rings valleys and green rolling thing. We also have the perfect scenery for Wendigo
Right.
Bigfoot movies.
Can you see that? Oh, no, hang on. I might need to oh crap, I just tapped on something else. Let me just go stop sharing, present, share screen, entire screen. Okay. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
See this? So this was just like a random hut that we had found. This was already pre-made in the forest. So this is for those who do live in New Zealand watching this. This was at Riverhead Forest in the North Shore, which is maybe about an hour and a bit away from Albany.
It's scary.
About
You could have
that.
you could have ended up in a real life Blair Witch project. You're out there
Yeah,
hunting locations and then becoming the hunted.
exactly. So that's chickly me, 2021. Looking fine as anything. Yeah, it was really cool looking forest. That's off a tree branch. With some more exterior shots. Just really, really sick, really beautiful. Nighttime scenes, like just this whole forest was just stunning. We're also going to be filming in a cave as well. So this is my first AD. His name's Liam. He's an absolute legend. Where's some other photos caves? Yeah, we basically went around like cave searching and stuff. Oh, here's a gorgeous shot. So this was going to be for the river scene in my story where the main character crosses a river, but there's something that's sort of swimming after her, and it looks like something's about to get her, but nah, she barely escapes. The cool cave shots. I don't think it's
Beautiful
really any
scenery,
other
man.
shots. Yeah, it's absolutely wild. We were thinking this sort of area for like where like the tribe sort of potentially could have been, but problem is that like there were also like camper vans and stuff around. But one of these hills here, I think it was this one here where my mouse is moving, was where we're going to shoot our Wendigo scene. So essentially it was the main character, it's like along the top, because it was like we're a bit of a flat area around here, and we're going to light a huge, not really a huge bonfire, but quite like a big campfire. And basically the scene is that the main character, she's standing there, she's crying out for her papa, because the story is that she's trying to find her father. But instead they're like Sasquatch howls in the forest. And it will sort of just pan out, over, to this sort of area and whatnot. But in the scene, there's something coming up the side. She runs and hides behind a tree, and there's a Wendigo that pops up. It sort of hangs around the campfire, trying to sniff and hunt her out. But basically, in my version, Wendigos, well, there's no top of the food chain, right? And so Wendigos kind of hunt Sasquatches, Sasquatches hunt Wendigos and stuff. And so, yeah.
Very cool, Mucky.
Well,
Let's have
hopefully
it. You know
one day-
what? Let's
actually,
watch the where I became familiar. To finish it out, where I became familiar with and what you talked about. Let's see the remake trailer for Until Dawn and
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
shows of
awesome.
Wendigo. All right, hang on. I'll share my screen then. Present.
So for those that don't know what Until Dawn is, it is a interactive story-based horror game where you get to play as all the different characters, but each little thing you say and do can affect the outcome of the entire game. I believe that there's 212 different endings to the game. There are 8 characters, I believe, 9 characters, I think. So quite literally everything you do and say, you can just walk down the wrong path and your character dies. But what's so good about this game is that if that character dies, that is it. You just move on to a different character, right? And the story continues. But if you want to save that character, you have to restart the entire game. The entire game. Yeah, you have to restart the entire game. But I think once you've completed the game, if you want to, you could like load different chapters and stuff. But in terms of your first playthrough, you have to restart the entire
There were certainly times where I had to redo a quick motion bit because I didn't duck in time and press triangle and you die and you just do it again, right?
No, not Until Dawn. Like if your character like is dead, like they stay dead.
I don't remember. Okay, that's interesting. But I do remember loving this game.
What did you do? Just messing around, man. It wasn't serious. I'm such an idiot. Oh, Anna!
There are a few things I need to make sure you understand.
I'm going to give you 10 seconds.
No, please! No!
The past is beyond our control. You have to accept this in order to move forward.
It was just a prank, man.
Everything you do, every decision you make from now on will open doors to the future.
The choice is
Until
yours.
Dawn?
I want you to remember this. I want you to remember this as you play your game.
Sam,
Oh, yeah.
looking for me?
I'm excited. I can't wait to.
Do you think it needed a remake?
It came out like what, like 2013, 2014? It's like
Was it?
10 years. I think so.
10 years? Okay, maybe, yeah.
Like 10 years maximum, yeah.
I did like that game a lot. Did you play the other one? Like by the same team and it's got the same vibe? Like
Yeah.
But it's
So I've
The
played
Quarry?
a bunch of other
No,
ones. Yeah, I played the Quarry, yeah. I played the Quarry. Which that one is like, I mean, I love Brenda Song's character, Caitlin, mostly because she's a Asian and she's really attractive, but that's literally it. Some of the characters are fun, but the story is just average. The werewolves look terrible.
Is that the Quarry? Yeah.
The Quarry. The werewolves suck. Like, they actually look so bad. I played Little Hope because I thought, oh, Hope, my last name. It's interesting.
I'm not playing. I don't know what that is.
So it's similar to Until Dawn and the Quarry and stuff.
Okay.
It's got the worst. It's got the best opening scene out of all the games that I've ever played, but it's got the worst ending. Oh, can you hear me now? Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
but it's got the best opening of all time, and it's got probably the worst ending of all time.
Little Hope.
But like, it's a game I would not recommend playing because the ending is just a complete waste of time. do you want me to share what the ending is?
No. Oh yeah, you can share the ending. Yeah.
So basically, throughout the game, it's like a So basically, in the opening scenes, like everyone dies in like this horrific way, and you're playing this like there's characters who get, like the school bus crashes and there's 5 of you. And as you're going through, you realize you're where the Salem witch trials are, and the spirits are coming back to haunt you of your ancestors, right? And the whole time you're playing, there's a big mystery. What is going on? What is going on? The final scene is that it cuts back to the bus driver, and it was all in your head the entire time as you get arrested.
It was all a
It
dream.
was all a dream.
Yeah, that's lame as shit.
So nothing like matters. It doesn't matter if your characters die or anything, because it's just all in the guy's head.
That's tough. That's a tough. Well, I'm excited for Until Dawn. We get to go through Wendigo and Skinwalkers again, but tonight we looked at it. There's nothing. There's not even any cool videos. It's just like Reddit stories of people who are like, I heard something in the forest that scared me. Right.
Yeah.
That's essentially the extent of it. And my conclusion is that it's just folklore. It's a Native American parent boogeyman that they use to scare children to behave. Otherwise, the Wendigo will get you. It's that age-old thing that every culture has, that same thing. It just looks in a different form to different people. But I think that's it for midnight for us, Mucky. Because Skinwalker, Wendigo, yeah.
Because I've got stories about Skinwalkers.
Oh, you got more stories?
I mean, about Skinwalkers, not Wendigos, but Skinwalkers.
Okay, so what's the difference then?
So a difference is that a Wendigo, as we sort of touched on, right, it's more sort of like Native American stuff. Skinwalkers are like America-wide. And the Skinwalkers are more like shapeshifters, right? And so they couldn't, similar to what we talked about, it follows. It could be anyone or anything. It just looks a bit off, right? And it's like some sort of like, carnivorous creature or something. I don't know. But
so what is it? It's a ghost.
Like a demon. I'm not sure what the official, some kind of like demonic thing, like a demonic animal that can shapeshift and change its form and whatnot.
Does it have a natural state, or is it a perpetually? No one knows what they look like because they're always shifting.
Yeah,
there is
pretty much.
There is no one's ever seen its normal look.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's lame.
Yeah. But I do have a story on a real story if you want to hear it from one of my really good trusted friends. So his name is Hamish Clark, one of my closest friends ever of all time, right? He does witchcraft as well, which I'll admit when it comes to witchcraft, I'm a little bit fuzzy-wuzzy on, but when it comes to spirits and stuff, we've got many different spirit stories that we've done together. But the Skinwalker one, it was with him and another one of his friends at the time. His name is Caden. So they were out, I think it was West Auckland, I think it was. Like maybe about 45 minutes from where I was or anything. And they'd found this place. It was like a construction zone for like a house or like, like a series of buildings or something. And it was mostly done, not completely done, but mostly done. And so they were going through all of it and stuff like that. They're also on a wee bit of the piss and stuff as well. And as they were walking through, Hamish had dropped something. And he went to go pick it up. But he felt like something wasn't right. His intuition is on point, by the way. He's very intuitive. He felt something was not right when he bent down to pick it up. And so he got his phone flashlight out and he, flicked it up. And he noticed that there was these 2 red eyes. So he's maybe about up to... So I'm 6'4". He's probably about 6'1", 6 foot-ish.
Okay.
And like probably a few feet above him was like this pair of red glowing eyes staring down at him as he shone the torch up. So something about animals, right? Which you may or may not know. But if you shine a light at them, you notice that their eyes are always red. Have you noticed that? But when you do it humans, our eyes don't go red. And some sort of chemical in the eyes and stuff are just really, really interesting. I'm not sure exactly what that chemical is. But anyway, so it's these 2 red eyes staring completely down at him. And they kind of like, it was a bit like, oh shit kind of thing. And so, he grabbed his stuff, walked around with Kaden a bit more. And then there was a voice behind him that turned around and it was an old man. Right? Like a really hunched over old man. Like, how sometimes you find people with like back problems, spine problems, and they've got like that lump sort of in their back, right? As they're like completely like bent over like that. They can't really
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, maybe there's a bit more to that. I'm not sure. Definitely one day, if Hamish is ever keen, and if you're ever keen, I can maybe get Hamish to come on and tell more of that story and some of his ghost stories as well that he's done. But anyways, they're talking to this old man and stuff like that, and still Hamish felt there's something not right about him. And anyways, they turned around, they left, they walked away, and just because he was curious, he turned around and shone his phone light again, and once again he saw those two red eyes staring down. So that they were able to like leave the area. They gapped at the hop in the car and drove off. But that is the story of the Skinwalker here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And he thinks when it comes to Skinwalkers and that sort of stuff, he thinks that they're smart enough to not be in your typical woodsy type areas, right? Because obviously, as humans evolved, so have different animals and stuff. They've learned how to hibernate. They know between different seasons to go to different places and stuff.
Wait,
so he reckons
Skinwalkers are an animal?
Yeah, it's like a type of animal type thing.
Like an actual physical animal. It's not a ghost, demon-y, like supernatural? Well, obviously it's supernatural because it shapeshifts, but
Skinwalker animal.
Where was this at again?
So this was West Auckland.
Where was he at? It's campsite.
Some sort of like construction-based area, and I just found here a Skinwalker
And it's
animal.
at nighttime.
Yeah, at nighttime. Yeah.
So there shouldn't have been an old man there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the story. A Skinwalker is a type of harmful witch who has the ability to turn into, possess, or disguise themselves as an animal. The term is never used for healers. Is Skinwalker real?
No.
Yeah, it's just stuff about like, oh, this is the history of Skinwalkers and witches. Yeah, so it's basically a witch, a shape-shifting witch.
It's not an animal, it's a witch. Okay.
Yeah. They could shapeshift into different animals and stuff. I mean, I really trust my friend. I really do. As I said, we've experienced some really weird supernatural shit together. But I was not there for this one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that story?
I mean, there's probably a cat or some sort of animal that was up, like on a tree or higher up, that was there that caught the light. The old man. Why is there an old man in a construction site? What were they doing at the construction site?
Well, folks wandering around. So something that Hamish does quite a bit, and I also tag along, is that we just go to random spots and chill. So I just assumed that him and his family just trying to find random spots at West Auckland. Found that, it's like, yo, let's walk around and chill.
And there's an old man there.
And there's an old man there, yeah.
In the middle of the night, chilling at some random construction zone.
Yeah. Like a really hunched over old man as well. Because the thing about Skinwalkers is that it's things where it's like, it's not like there'll be like an animal, but it's not right, if that sort of makes sense. Like there's something off about it. And potentially with the video that I found earlier, Skinwalker, contemplation. I'm not sure if that's any good or not. But we could even look at stuff like Skinwalker Ranch as well.
Yeah, Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
What do they got? I've heard of that. That's a Netflix series, so there must be something there.
Yeah. I'll let you search up Skinwalker Ranch, and I'll try and load this contemplation.
They have bloody alien encounters and stuff too, apparently, at Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay, a lot of this is just random, like, creepypasta shit.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just creepypasta, man.
You know, there aren't even videos of animals with the one that I found. It's like we'd ordered a clown off the dark web. It's just some really cool.
Let's watch this one.
Yeah.
It's a 4-minute, and it's by the History Channel. So History Channel, somewhat a thing, I guess.
Hmm.
Skinwalker Ranch really derived its name from a curse. The Skinwalker curse has its roots in a feud between the Ute tribe and the Navajo tribe. At a time when the Utes were really aligned with the United States government and had sold many of their peers into slavery. So the Navajo cursed this property. A skinwalker is essentially a witch that has chosen to put on the skin, essentially, or the form of what can only be described as a giant wolf. A skinwalker is something that exhibits superhuman agility and strength. Placing the skinwalker curse on this property made it a very real place to avoid.
We've heard all these stories that if you dig on this ranch, bad things might happen to the people that do the digging. So there's a space down here that we've got instruments that say there might be something underground, but the only way to know is to drill. We want to do it safely, and we certainly don't want to do something that's dangerous, but we'd love to get your perspective on it.
Well, normally when we do anything to disturb the earth, we usually lay down the blessing, because I don't want to tap into something that isn't meant to tap in.
Amen. That's been my whole contention the entire time.
Let's put it this way. Let's go and see.
I would love that.
That'd be great. Why don't we head out there and look?
Let's go for it. It's a vast property.
How many acres?
It's about 512 total.
Didn't realize it was that.
It goes quite a ways south.
Larry Cesspooch performing a Ute tribal blessing at the drill site might help calm the anxiety that some of the guys have about disturbing the ground on the ranch. And who knows, maybe it will really help keep us safe.
As you can tell, this is one of the old dwellings here. We call it Homestead 2. This is an area where people have had various experiences. I'll leave it at that.
So if we decide to dig, it's going to be along this roadway where we detected anomalies under the ground. We don't know what it is. We just know it's something different than the rest of the dirt around under the ground here.
Right. I will lay some tobacco. I will ask for understanding that no one be hurt or affected.
We'll listen with reverence.
Sure. Abuno. Panike. Wanam. Taboy panapagat. Itsaga. Umwe. Nusnikaba. Płetkie. Tata oczy. Płetkie wesny. Płetkie wesny. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Wow. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate you helping us with that.
Yeah, I would hope that you all would have been praying with me, because you're the ones who's going to do it. And if it's something that we shouldn't touch or tap into, your instruments, your machinery will malfunction, and just take that as a sign that it's not good. Just leave it at that.
Can't tell you how much I appreciate everything.
Yeah, he's been trying to tell us no, and I think this helps.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Great to meet you, Larry.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's not really much there, eh?
No,
It's,
so again, explain what they were, and to me, again, it was a retribution. They did something bad. I curse the land now, like curse these people to be.
But also, it's kind of
skinwalkers,
like something I was thinking about though while we're the video was playing was it's kind of like with the pyramids.
What do you
But
mean
when you
with the
track back,
pyramids?
like every time they open a new, like was it a new pyramid or new coffin or new room or something? Something like there's like a curse on those people, and something really horrible always somehow ends up happening. Like to each of the different people that led the exhibition in, like it's
Is that true though?
yeah, from what I know, it's like real true stories.
That could be a future topic. The Egypt thing, the
Yeah,
pyramids, and
Egyptian
like
stuff.
what
Yeah.
they. What do you like the that it represents an ancient civilization, or that it was made by aliens, or like what's the thing with?
I think it's an ancient civilization because we think about things like Egypt, Rome, Greece, like some of the ancient Greek architecture we still use to this day. Which that's
Yeah.
a true fact. I learned that in classical studies, and same thing with Rome as well. Some of
Yeah,
the
but
old
that's not.
ancient architecture is still used to this day, and I think
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So
hard with something like as huge as the pyramids, right? But it's like we still take things from those civilizations, and with such a new era that we live into this day with all this massive technology, we're still going back to their
like
formats,
what?
their methods, and everything. Like
Like
when it
what?
comes to
What do you mean?
like with architecture, like in terms of building structure and stuff, like like museums, tall buildings, and stuff like that, all made from Greek architecture.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like structure is the basic principles of like cross beams and vertical and horizontal and supports and all. Like, what do you mean? You can't really
But like you would
change
think,
it.
like
It's physics. They worked
but
out
it's
the
like
maths a long time ago, yes,
yeah,
but the basic infrastructure of building is that. So yeah, well, I think that stuff, the
yeah,
ancient civilization, like the Egypt, especially, like
yeah,
that could be a cool topic. Let's come up with more ideas because I had
yeah,
fun. I think there's not as much debate that we can have on
yeah,
Wendigo and Skinwalkers because we're both like,
yeah,
yeah, right. But I want to be able to have topics where we can both sort of go at it, have the debate, have a large debate, if you will, Mucky.
large
We'll just
debate.
have
Okay,
a mass debate, a mass debate.
I masturbate. Well, how about
Yeah,
this? Next one we do Loch Ness monster.
you want Loch Ness?
I want to do Loch
Okay.
Ness next because I feel like that I can actually like really genuinely debate because with Wendigo Skinwalkers, it's kind of like I'm quite keen to talk about it, but once again, it's like there's no rock solid proof. There's no photographs, no videos or anything. It's all just artwork and like stories on
Yeah, but there's none.
this
Like,
alternate words. Yeah,
to be fair though, like when you say there's no solid proof or evidence, we're going to run into that issue a lot for any topic we do because if there was
good.
solid proof or evidence, it's not going to be something that we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's no
but I mean,
solid proof for anything, any of this stuff.
but I feel like that there's
That's why it's
still
scripted.
at least some. But I feel like with some more than others, still more proof on it. Like stuff like Bigfoot's and Loch Ness, there's certain things you could bring up and say. They could be like, actually, yes, that is a good point. If that makes sense. But then what's the counter argument to that, right? With Wendigos and
Yes.
Skinwalkers, it's like, what is
You can't even bring up the good point.
that good point? Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. All right, we got any more on Wendigo and Skinwalkers?
Wendigos and Skinwalkers. I mean, I couldn't find anything on YouTube. It's all just creepypasta stuff that was funny. But I have seen videos and stuff of like animals doing really weird, sort of demonic, creepy shit and stuff. On TikTok, on YouTube Shorts and stuff.
Yeah, it's
Whether
animal
they're
shit. It's not demonic. It's animal shit. Like they're weird. They probably got rabies, or animals are wild animals. Like it's
yeah,
difficult
true.
to predict.
Yeah.
But
But even stuff like like even wild animals in the forest and stuff doing really weird sort of this is a bit, you get what I mean? That's a bit odd, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as it nothing that's like Okay, yes, that is a really good point to prove that skinwalkers exist.
Yeah, no, obviously not.
I'd say the only.
You're saying you're gonna have that for Loch Ness.
Yeah, I've got stuff for Loch Ness.
All right, I look forward to it. We're gonna do that another time in a couple of weeks, probably. We'll do it again, Mucky, at midnight.
Yeah, at midnight. I mean, we have to. It's midnight chats with Mucky and Kahuna, right? I mean, it's probably coming out close to midnight for you now, is it?
Yeah, actually, 11:40. So yeah, we're pushing it. But
Yeah,
yeah, thank you for your Saturday evening, Mucky. I know you're a young lad about town, and you give up your prime Wendigo hunting hours.
Actually, really funny story. So a few years ago, I was at this party. It was 2021. I was at this party, and one of my friends, she had brought her friend, and she was really cute. A woman, really really cute. And we started talking and stuff, and I mentioned Sasquatch, and she was like, "What's that?" I said, "You don't know what a Sasquatch is?" And I just gave her a
idiot,
fucking moron. I gave her like an hour and a half lecture on Sasquatches,
I'm sure that
Wendigos, Krakens.
How did she hold herself back from just jumping you for an hour and a half, Mucky? Like the couch has been soaked. Hearing Bigfoot stories for an hour and a half.
I mean, what's really funny is that there was this guy there. His name's Jacob. He's a bit of a weirdo. He tries to hook up with chicks at every party, but like no one wants to hook up with him. He was getting mad that I was talking to this cute chick for so long about random mystical creatures, and he would come and try to join the conversation, and I'm just venting her like, a kraken is a giant octopus that lives here and does this, and it was in the Viking times and stuff. And she was just going, okay. And then like, ask her questions about it. She would ask me some questions about it. She was
At
ready
any
to
point,
tell me.
did she say something along the lines of, "Please don't hurt me"?
No, she didn't.
Was she blinking at people that were like looking across, like just across the room, like just blinking?
I mean, I don't remember, but I do recall being like, you know what, this is pretty funny. That's been like a whole like hour and a bit, just shoving down cryptids down someone's throat, right? So.
Well, we've done an hour and a half of shoving cryptids down people's throats now. And we're going to do it again a couple of weeks' time at least. We don't know. Like this, I'm not locking in a hard and fast schedule for this. It's just whenever we're chill and I want to have a chat with my good friend Mucky about some random weird shit on my Saturday night, then I know I'm going to have a good time. So we're going to do Loch Ness next time.
Next time, absolutely.
We'll do Egypt and ancient civilizations and things like that another time. We'll do aliens at some point. We'll do like, we wanted to do like local stuff, right? Like Australian cryptids or New Zealand cryptids and
New Zealand cryptids as well. Yeah,
things like that. So we got stuff coming up. There's plenty of it's fertile ground, especially if we want to look at cool videos and react. And if you're having a Saturday night where I know Mucky's a bit of a straight edger. You're not straight edge, are you?
Straight edge?
Yeah.
Like it's that what I think it means? It's like, not like out partying and doing a lot of stuff, or
like you do. No, well, straight edge is an actual. I guess it is kind of an older. It is an older thing, but straight edge was like, I'm in the punk rock scene or whichever scene it is, but I don't do the drugs and drinking and stuff. They're clean, no drugs, no alcohol, no sex, but it's still hardcore kind of thing.
I definitely have sex. I definitely drink alcohol, but I don't really do drugs.
Right. So the alcohol. So you're not straight edge. So they actually signify straight edge by a cross, an X. They'll either have tattooed on their hand or on their arms or something like that. And that originated from the reason why is because that whenever it was in the 70s, 80s, in the hardcore scene, when kids would go to the club and they're underage, they still wanted to go for the music, but they couldn't get drunk because it's illegal. The bouncers and stuff would draw an X on their hand to mark that they're underage and can't get alcohol. Don't serve them. They have an X on their hand. And then they ended up taking that on as a pride thing. Like they took the X on their hand is like, no, I don't drink, but it's because I'm clean in my mental state, even though I'm a hardcore rocker and like I'm, that's like there's within any subculture, there's like subcultures and subgenres of subgenres of cult. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's one of those in the punk hardcore rock scene is straight edge.
Oh man, I had no idea. You learn something new every day.
There you go. At least we got something. Skinwalkers, Wendigo were like, no, but you learned about straight edge. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Straight edge could have been you asked me if I was straight.
No.
And I would not have a clue, but now I do.
Straight edge,
baby.
It's a little
Straight
bit
edge.
different, yeah. All right, Mucky. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. We're going to catch up another time about Loch Ness Monster and all those sort of cool shit, and just talk a lot of crap on a Saturday night at midnight.
Yeah, I'll see you on a Saturday, bro.
All right, buddy. See you, man.
All right, bye.